welcome to Pilates for Beginners. This video is for people who are maybe just getting back into movement or maybe brand new to Pilates. We're focusing a lot on core, breath, and spine mobility and organization. That is the very kind of center of Pilates. All you need is a mat, and let's get started laying on our back. So you can have your arms by your side and your feet are going to be in a nice bend. We're just going to take a few breaths here. So you're welcome to put one hand on your stomach if you'd like. Maybe close your eyes. You're going to inhale and just feel your lungs expand. Feel that rib cage get nice and big. Exhale, bring it all together. Now we're going to do that same thing, but this time I want you to bring out the backs of your ribs, so about your mid back and your low back onto the mat, nice and flat. Do the same thing. Inhale. Keep that imprinting down. Exhale. It's still touching your mat. Do that one more. Inhale, exhale. Back is still on that mat. Exhale. Let it all out. So we're going to add some movement with our pelvis. So I want you to come to find your ASIS bones. Those are the kind of parts of your hips that you can touch, right? And then from here, I want you to inhale, and as you do, tilt those bones back towards you. And you're really almost pushing your back even harder into the mat. And then on your exhale, take those bones, come through neutral and almost tilt them forward. Your back will lift off the mat. Do that one more. Inhale, almost picking up that tailbone. Exhale, tilting away. Low back might pick up a little bit. Good. One more like that. Just moving with our breath. That way we know where our pelvis needs to be. Or just how to mobilize that pelvis. And then I want you to find neutral. In a lot of these movements, we stay in neutral. So it's a good kind of area to get familiar with here. Those ASIS bones should be sticking straight up to the ceiling. Low belly is up and in. If you're not sure what that looks like in your body, feel free to do this in front of a mirror and see the difference between that tilting in each direction. So as I mentioned, now we're going to get a little bit into the core. So inhale, fill up your lungs, pelvis is in neutral. On your exhale, I want you to lift your right leg to tabletop and then slowly tap it back down. Inhale, lift your left leg, exhale, tap. Just lifting one leg and then the other. A few things to think about here. You want to keep your ribs and your low back connected to the mat. Keep your low belly up and in. So like your belly button is hugging back to your spine. You almost want to think like you're grabbing a corset around your ribs, around your abdomen. Lift one leg and then the other. Moving slowly. Pilates is also a lot about control. So if one leg is lifting, the other is steady. And I'm being sure I'm not letting that opposite leg kind of relax or kick out to the side. And then I want you to lift your left leg and hold it there in tabletop, which means my knee is over my hip. My ankle is in line with my knee. And then I'm going to lift my right leg, same thing. Zip your legs together. So this is probably the most core we've felt yet because our legs are being held up by our core. We're really core setting our abdomen together. And just hold here for a moment. Try to zip those legs together. We're going to add a little bit more core. Can you take your knees and send them 1 inch away from your belly button? Now, from here, double check your low back is still pushing down into the mat. Do that maybe one more time and hold. if you noticed your low back starting to come up, I want you to bring those knees back on top of your hips and maybe just give me one leg. If both is okay for you, we're gonna add on, we're gonna do some toe taps. So similar to what you just did, you're gonna let your right leg come forward, exhale, bring it back up. Stay on the right side for me. So as I mentioned, we're finding control not just in the moving leg, where we're moving slowly, but in that left leg is super still. Really being careful here to move slow to keep that low back pushing down. If at any time your low back starts to turn on or starts to hurt, change your range of motion to be a little bit smaller. Let's do one more here. Good. Back to that closed tabletop position. Left leg taps forward and lifts. Keeping our right leg steady. Keeping our low back, our mid back imprinting into the mat. Inhale, tap. Exhale, back together. Good. Maybe you can challenge yourself just by lifting your hands up away from the mat. So now they're no longer stabilizing us. We're going to use a little bit more balance. Let's do 3 more here. Give me 1 more. Bring your hands to your knees. Pull your knees into your chest. You can rock from side to side on your low back. Should feel like a nice little massage. Maybe stretch in those hips a little bit. And then you can bring your knees back to neutral, arms to your side, and legs back into tabletop. Now from here, we imprint that low back, that mid back in. I want you to take your hands, you're gonna interlace them and bring them to the very back of your head where your skull and your neck meet. And then curl up here. We're still pushing our back down, we're still pushing our low belly down. If that doesn't feel good in your body, 2 things to think about. 1, you can drop your feet down, and I want you to push that back down to lift up. Now, anytime we add our neck lifting, a lot of people want to strain in the neck. So instead of doing that, I want you to think of pushing your back down to lifting higher. And then let's lower everything down. Feet can come down as well. Let's just concentrate on the head here. So inhale. Now on your exhale, push your back down to curl up. Good. Hold here. We want to get this in our low belly and not our neck. So I'm pushing my head back into my hands and I'm pushing my back into the mat. Hold here for an inhale and an exhale. And slowly lower down. Let's do that again. Elbows are wide. Inhale, prepare. I'm going to lift my head. I'm pushing my head into my hands. I'm pushing my back down to curl up and lift. Hold here. Chin is lifted. Maybe if you want to make it a little spicier, you lift your left leg into tabletop, right leg into tabletop, zip together. You're back in that position we started in. Push your back down. Holding here for 5. Last 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your legs down first, and then lower all the way down. Windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Check back in with your breath, with how your body's feeling. So next we're going to come into some bridging. I want you to bring your arms by your side and walk your feet in so that your fingertips can touch your heels. And then from here, walk your feet together so that they're in line with those ASIS bones. So not the outside of the hips, but those ASIS, that inside bone part. Arms by our side. We inhale, prepare. On our exhale, you're going to take that pelvis, tilt it towards you. As you do, you lift up in that tailbone. Send those hips all the way up high. Good. Pause here for a second. Look at those knees. They should be in line with our ASIS and not tilting out. So if you need to, bring them together and then slowly lower back down. Melt each vertebrae, each part of your spine onto your mat. We inhale at the bottom. Exhale, tilt that pelvis first. Push into your feet, lift those hips up. Knees are still in line with those ASIS bones. Hold at the top here. Really lift those hips up. Now, even here, can you knit those ribs together? So pull that belly button back and in, and then slowly lower back down, melting each part of your mat, each part of your back onto the mat. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, feet push, hips lift from that pelvic tilt. Push your knees forward. Slowly, controlling that movement, take it back down. Good. Stay here with me for a few more. Moving with your breath. If you'd like to, reach your arms up. Keep that movement in that inhale, lifting. Inhale, preparing. Exhale, lifting and lowering back down. Again, removing those arms just adds a little bit more challenge. We're going to hold at the top on this next one. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift. Feet push down, hips lift up. Knees are still in. Can you lift up 1 inch higher? Good. Just hold here for a moment. I want you to imagine your feet are pushing down, but can you slide or act like you're sliding your heels? So you're not going to actually move your heels. Just imagine they're sliding back towards your glutes. You're going to feel a little bit more hamstring here. Take that core. You're still knitting it in. And then from here, maybe lift up 1 inch and lower 1 inch. Little lift and lower. 1 inch lift, 1 inch lower. Here for 4. We take it down in 3. Double check that organization. Knees are still in. 2. And 1. Lower down through each vertebrae. Once again, knees can come in and you can rock and roll side to side here. And then let's make our way to a 4-point kneel. So come up and go ahead, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And then I want you to push the ground away from you and lift your low belly away from the mat and just hold here for a moment. You should already feel a little bit of that core connection. We want to make sure we're not kind of hanging out or tilting that pelvis forward, right? So bring that pelvis into neutral, low belly up and in. Hold here for an inhale. Exhale, let it go. Just imprinting this into our minds. Inhale. Exhale, release. You're going to take those toes and flip them under here. We're just going to do 3 of these, so stay with me. Arms are strong. If you have sensitive wrists, you're just going to rotate those fingertips out slightly. from here, inhale, prepare. Exhale, push into your hands and your toes to lift those knees off of the ground. And then as slow as you can, tap those knees back down. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, hover. Push the ground away. And tap. Just one more with me. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Can you hold here? Low belly up and in. Double check that pelvis is still neutral. Let's hold for 2 inhales and 2 exhales, or 2 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, release. If you need to take a break, you can. One more inhale. Exhale, bring those knees down. Bring your knees wide on the mat. Stretch your arms forward. Nice child's pose here. Dropping that head, dropping those shoulders. You can even move side to side. And then roll back up into that 4-point nail. We're just going to do a few cat-cows to stretch and to end class. So I want you to keep those strong arms. Knees are underneath your hips. Inhale, drop that belly. Look up, stretch through your neck. Exhale, think of creating space through each vertebrae. Push the ground away. Curl your head in towards your chest. Look back through your legs. Inhale, drop, arch, looking up. Exhale, push away, curling your head in. One more each direction. And exhale. Move at your own pace. Beautiful. If that was your first Pilates class, congrats. Thank you for moving with me. I have several videos, lifestyle videos. So if you are someone who sits a lot at work, experiences low back pain, a lot of times that can be a kind of a loss of core. So I have a video focusing on that, video for runners, video for new moms. Go ahead and check those out. Comment if you have any ideas for an upcoming video. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.